Hi fellow bombers, I'm Brian from Atomic-Moto, and this is our review of the Gaerne SG-12 Enduro. In case you're wondering, we already have a review of the standard Gaerne SG-12 model. Is one of our favorite boots, and our love for that model is well documented. We've got lots of content on our YouTube channel and on the product page for that boot, professing that love. But the Enduro model has a lug sole, and that lug sole is an increasingly important feature. Many people are beginning to ask for it, and in fact starting to demand it, because they get off the motorcycle, they walk around, they want to make sure that they have good grip when they're doing so. So let's run through the basics of the SG-12. Now, first of all, the construction of this boot is identical to the standard model, with the exception of the sole, bottom, and the colors. There's no waterproof line or anything like that. It is just the addition of those items. And it comes in sizes 8, which is a European 42, all the way up to a 13, which is a European 48. It weighs about 4.7 pounds for a size 10. These are 11s just because we're out of 10s at the moment. These are about 4.8 pounds, about a tenth of a pound more than the next size down. The boot comes in one color, this black, very muted design, not a lot of flash on it, which is good for its intended use. I think it matches up very well. And the SG-12 Enduro is made in Italy. The construction of the SG-12 is really clever. It is very intelligent industrial design. It is a complicated product in terms of its function, but it's a very simple product in terms of its design and manufacturing. All the plastic parts were very carefully designed, so there's not a lot of them. It's not as complicated as, for example, a seated crossfire. But it works very well on the bike. First of all, let me show you that the front plates of the boot overlap. The shin plate, which I'll detach here, kind of floats, and that overlaps this second piece to give you a little bit of protection on the front of the boot, and then they come down over this, and so it's got pretty good flex. Plastic all around the bottom of the boot. There's this dog bone that they call a razor back. It wraps around the inner side of the boot here over the ankle area, and then comes out around to mount the second buckle. And that has a little tongue and groove mechanism here, and then again down here also, and that helps facilitate the boot's flex. But the entire exterior shell of this boot is almost all plastic. It has, we love saying it, a mechanical hinge, and one of the best ones in the industry. It's a dual pivot hinge, 2 pivots on the outer side, 2 pivots on the inner side, and the action on this is spectacular right out of the box. Does not need any break-in, and in fact it has something that's really clever and really cool. The hinge somehow has not just action fore and aft I should say, but actually a little bit side to side. I'm going to try and show you that here if I can flex the boot enough. It's hard to do without a leg in it, but the boot actually will allow you to move a little bit this way, and you'll see that right here. If I can flex this correctly, the hinge has some up and down movement on both sides. And what that means is that when you're on the motorcycle and you are kind of moving around a little bit, weighting the pegs, trying to shift the bike around, or you're shifting the bike around like you're on a hillside or something like that, your body can move, your weight can remain perfectly on the motorcycle, and your soles stay flat on the pegs. It's a really clever idea. We haven't found another boot yet that does that, so kudos to Gaerne. The other thing that's really interesting, really important, is the sole design. And as I said, it has some lugging on it, lugging on the heel, and it's a proprietary design for Gaerne. It's smooth in the area where the foot peg goes, so it's really easy to move your foot fore and aft on the peg without hooking or catching, so you can brake or move it forward to shift. But then it does have some lugging on the outer side here, and on the heel, and that gives you a little bit more grip, a little bit more purchase when you're off the motorcycle and walking around. 4 buckles. Gaerne's buckles are excellent. They're the standard by which all others should be judged. They're really simple to operate, clean or dirty, gloves or no gloves. whether they're wet or dry, hot or cold. Their action on them is really easy. They are super easy to open and close, and they're quite durable. They're also replaceable, and they're not very expensive, although I doubt you will ever have to because they almost never break. The padding on this boot is also a standard that all other boots should be judged by. The SG-12 has this fantastic amount of memory foam in the ankle area. Kind of goes in here in the ankle, and then also on the outer ankle here. On the outer side, it almost has a donut, and not almost, it actually has a donut shape, and your malleolus nests into that, and then it wraps around the back of the Achilles area, and then has kind of a cutout here to accommodate your heel. And then some padding over the top of your foot here. When you put this boot on, as you are pushing your leg downward, there's a noticeable shunk, and then it falls into place, and immediately you feel that secure feeling of all of that padding. It's super confidence inspiring and super comfortable. The fit of the SG-12 is the same, SG-12 Enduro is the same as a standard model, which is to say it's pretty wide. Gaerne has a reputation for being wide, and this definitely fits that bill. But it also has enough padding along the back side of the boot in this area so that if you don't have a wide foot, your foot is still comfortably held in place. Let me say that in a different way. This boot works well for people that have a wide foot, but also for people that don't have a wide foot. It is one of the best fitting products we sell because it has such a good shape. Remember, fit is more important than, fit is not a two-dimensional thing, bigger, smaller, narrower, wider. Fit is a component of shape, and the shape of this boot is amazing. Talking about the protection of the SG-12 Enduro, it's one of the best models out there for that also. All of that plastic gives you tons of support. The midsole has great support. You can't bend this no matter how hard you try. So if you catch your foot on a rock or a stationary object, even if the bike comes up behind you and whacks you, you're not going to get a situation where the sole is going to fold up and get a metatarsal injury. There's a really good heel counter there that helps protect the back of the boot. The entire rear of the boot is very well protected. Here's the cool thing about it that most other boots don't do. Because all of these plastic pieces overlap, there is no soft area, exposed area just above the ankle pivot, like on some other models, where you can bend the boot this way or this way. Between the Razorback and the overlapping plastic here, this boot has the best lateral support of anything that we've found. And where is that important? That means that's important if you are if you're falling and the bike is falling on your leg, it has great support in that area. Or if you're riding in a rocky area and you happen to put your foot down and it gets nestled in between some rocks and kind of held in place there, and your leg is trying to go this direction, this boot has very good support in that regard. Now remember, no product can prevent all injuries. The idea is to reduce the statistical likelihood of them. It's hard to say. The statistical likelihood of those injuries, in the way that this inner plastic is designed on the SG-12, it does a very good job at that. Let's sum up our views on the SG-12. Just like we said in the other video, just like we proved by the fact that I keep coming back to this model. I can try everything. I do try just about everything, and I keep coming back to this model as my favorite. This is about the best boot in the world. Everything about it is top shelf, top notch. The design, the material specking on it, which is where a lot of brands cut corners. The assembly of it is great. The protection, the feel, the durability of it is amazing. This is a fantastic boot, and I cannot say enough good things about it. If there are any knocks on it, it is a little bit on the heavy side, but that is understandable because it has all that memory foam on the inside and because the sole base is so nice and stiff and durable, and that's kind of like a worthy trade-off. There's a reason for it. But this boot also has a lug sole, and that's another nice little feature about it. The styling is also quite muted. No flashy graphics on it, just a little simple G and a kind of a dark gray. It looks good. Looks good under, with just about any type of gear or under an adventure pant. And then the sole The sole pattern on it is a really nice feature for those that get off and walk around, hike around, and want to make sure that they have plenty of grip. And so that is our review of the Gaerne SG-12 Enduro boot. At this moment, we are the exclusive importer of these in the United States, although that's going to change when a distributor is going to be bringing them in pretty soon too. But that won't stop our supply. If anything, that's going to help it. So these are great product. You should really check them out. We really like them. And with that, I'm going to sign off. We are Atomic-Moto, www.atomic-moto.com, home of the Bombers. We have a great YouTube channel. We'd love it if you click like on this video and click subscribe for future ones. And as I like to say at the end of all of these, we hope to see you out on your bike.